Yeah. If you reminded me before, I would have been more prepared. But since I'm not all prepared, so I cannot tell you all the details. What I can tell you is that
Like the type of question.
if you watch my video, which I sent you before, you'll be fine.
Promise.
Promise. I am. I am pretty sure.
Pretty sure.
Let me see, what do I have in my video?
No. That video is from 2022.
We have the similar exam.
Similar. I don't like the word similar.
We cannot give you the exact same thing, right? It's not fair.
Yes.
Playlist, which one? Recitation. Okay, so Exam3 review is here. Okay, so this will be in the exam. This question.
Yeah, no, I watched like half of the video. I kind of watched. It's already posted.
Yeah, I posted it on my in our playlist. So
Definitely, right?
one of these.
I already see it. I already see how.
Seeing is not enough. You have to know how to solve them, how to do them. Okay, so let's see, what do I have next? Oh, I went too far. 85. Okay, so find the exact value with sum and difference, one of them.
Wait, what? Repeat that?
Find the exact value with sum and difference, there will be one. The degree will be, the angle will be different, but the question is same. Find the exact value using sum or difference identities. Okay. What is this? Same concept, find the exact thing. So one of them, either sine, cosine, or tangent. You're gonna find exact thing. Find the exact value using sine inverse. I mean, inverse function, either sine, cosine, or tangent. One of the inverse, you're gonna find exact answer. Keep going. Yes, 2 graphing questions. So see, from the inverse, there'll be one of them. And inverse are tricky, so make sure you know all the tricks. If you know circle, you're fine. But if you don't know, then few of them, at least 2 of these. Okay, this type. You have inverse and the original together.
I don't know. Can you go over that? I don't understand. I think it's
okay. Let me see my question. Actually, I have 3 of these. Students. So 3 of these, okay?
3 of those? No, we're going over there.
Okay, then let me. I am a teacher.
No, like the lecture.
I'm a lecturer. I'm teaching statistics this semester instead of this class. Next semester, not sure yet, but this semester I'm teaching it. So I actually go over this question. Let me write this down. We have sine inverse of sine of negative 3 pi over 4. I forgot.
Wait, that, what is it called?
Um, Find the exact solution.
That's the real thing.
Exam review. The video is 1 hour 45 minutes. I'm telling you what will be in your exam based on my review, based on my video. Whatever time permits, I'll go over the questions. You must do all the questions I mentioned there because you're going to have 3 of these scenarios. You are going to have 3 of these scenarios in your exam.
Your previous lesson. Okay.
So I solved everything here. So if you watch the recording and you know how to solve any type of this type of question, like with any numbers, you'll be fine.
Okay. All right. I like
So one of these guys on the right side, you have one thing and then 2 inverse inside.
Wait, repeat that again?
The right side. So 2 of the left side and 1 of the right side.
The left side?
But left side has 2 scenarios. Either the original function first and then the inverse, or you have inverse first and the original function.
I don't like that.
These are actually not bad. Solving trig equation, one of these. But this is too easy. Wait, let me see. Yeah, this is too easy. They're going to give you something like this. Something like the right side. So I'll actually go over this. Let me write this down. What do we have? 4 sine square minus 2 cosine minus 2 0.
Yeah.
One of those? No, that's
Only the identities will be given to you. This one you have to use, it is an equation. So you're going to solve it. And you're going to get 4 solutions, I think. 2 solutions because they're square. To be honest, I forgot most of these.
Okay. Question.
70 questions?
You think that helps?
Not 70, 50 questions, right? You get 5 points extra in the exam.
No, not that. You can use one that's like a work assignment, it's on like 50 questions, and then you also upload to PDF, which is 70 additional questions.
I actually never looked at those.
I honestly didn't.
One of these.
Because
A point will be given, you have to draw a graph, you have to draw a triangle and find all 6 trig functions. Okay. Definitely the right side, left and right. I mean, whatever I have here, trust me, you're going to see them.
I'm trusting.
So make sure you know how to solve these questions with any numbers. Not only these numbers, you're definitely not going to see these numbers. You're going to see same structure with different numbers. And for this one, not only quadrant 2, make sure you know if you have a triangle in quadrant 1, 3, or 4, what happens, okay? So here the main thing is quadrant tell you the sign. What would be the sign of the length of the, like sine, cosine, tangent? What would be the sign of sine, cosine, tangent in each quadrant? And definitely two equations. So one graph will be given, find out its equation, and two graphs you have to draw. One sine, one cosine.
Okay, oh, that would be.
And they also have vertical shifting and up-down shifting and amplitude.
For both of the graphs.
It's sine would be like this, cosine would be like this, like sine.
Yeah, but what if there's a horizontal or vertical shift that changes? It's like, I know that sine goes through the origin of cosine, you have to the middle, so that's if, right, if there's a shift, then it would be different, and that's what confuses me usually.
Are you talking about finding equation from the graph
No.
or graphing?
Like the actual, like knowing whether it's sine or cosine, because I'm saying, I understand how to find actual formula, my, issue.
It actually doesn't matter. Whatever you see, it may have different answer because sine and cosine, they have the same graph.
That's what I'm saying, so it's like.
So as long as you take the right portion and write the equation for that portion, you will be fine. For example, this one could be a graph of sine and also could be a graph of cosine. So it depends on how you see it.
Because you're doing differently based on. Okay.
Based on your cycle. How do you see one cycle? If you see it as a sine cycle, or if you see it as a cosine cycle.
This cosine cycle, it's peak to peak and
Right.
sine is.
0 to 0.
Because that's what I was on Lehman, that's what I was struggling with, and then the video wasn't correct. Yeah, I guess I would say. So
It doesn't help. Actually,
it
it's
just
very
gives you the
helpful.
answer.
I'm gonna
Is it
do
more
it.
helpful?
Yeah, help.
You can use it as a cosine cycle, one cosine cycle. But I always like to work with sine, so I do it from one is 1 0 to that is see
Sine
a sine
is
shifting one
peak
inch
to
up.
peak. Or no, cosine is peak to peak. And
Sine is
sine
0 to 0.
Here,
Oh, let me write that.
that's like a mind blowing thing to me, because that's what I was struggling with.
And I would always go for sine.
Need that. You know what I
It's
mean?
easier.
Okay.
Then tangent is something.
Tangent, don't worry about the tangent.
It's not gonna be.
When
graph.
I mean, you have to know all 6 functions. Okay? Sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, cotangent, because you're going to identify which graph is what. They're going to give you the graph and you're going to identify which one is what. So you have to know the graph for all 6 functions. Trust me. But you have to draw one sine graph and one cosine graph. They will have all amplitude, vertical shifting, horizontal shifting, everything. So make sure you know how to draw sine graph and cosine graph using amplitude, horizontal shifting, vertical shifting. And also one graph will be given, you're going to find out what's the equation of the graph. And the graph will be similar to this one, either sine or cosine. It will be either sine or cosine. It depends on how you see the graph.
We're gonna do like.
Like something like this. They'll give you amplitude, vertical shifting, horizontal shifting, and you're going to graph it. And so also you're going to find what is amplitude, what is period, what is midline. You're going to find all of this. That's it. So most of the questions in the exam are from there. So keep watching. Okay, so now which type of question you want me to go over?
The one that says like original.
Okay, so they have 2 scenarios. There will be Something like this. Oops. Let's say we have tangent of secant inverse of 7/3. Find the exact value of this weird function. And
Find value.
exact value. And then we have, let's say, sine inverse of cosine of -3 pi/4. Okay, so two similar to this question, and then one with everything together. So if you have inverse function inside, you like it easy. The inverse function inside tell you what's the angle you have. So this is going to tell us the angle. So how do you find that angle? Well, we actually don't need that angle. What you are going to do is you're going to draw a triangle based on the information they give. Secant is what over what in terms of a triangle? 1/cosine, but it doesn't help us, right?
So, choose it.
If cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, secant is what? Hypotenuse over adjacent. So that is telling us the 7 is the hypotenuse and 3 is the adjacent. That means, let's say this is our angle X. This angle X has adjacent here is 3 and hypotenuse here is 7.
Yeah.
So from this hard looking thingy, we get the angle X. So in other words, we have tangent X. Now they're asking us, based on this triangle, how much you have for tangent X? So in terms of triangle, tangent is what over what? Opposite over adjacent. So this is our adjacent, we already know. And this is the opposite. Do we have the opposite given to us?
No.
So what do you have to do? Find out what is the opposite. So how are you going to find the opposite? It's a square plus b square equals c square formula, right?
Yeah.
So let's say this is a, let's say this is b, and let's say this is c. So our b square is c square minus a square, right? If a square plus b square is c square, if a square plus b square is c square, then our b square is c square minus a square, right? It's algebra, not trigonometry yet. We already know our c is 7. So what is 7 squared? 49. We already know our a is 3. So what is 3 squared? 9. And what is 49 minus 9? 40. And this is b squared. We are not looking for b squared, we are looking for b. So what is b? We take the square root. So b is square root of 40. And 40 is divisible by 4. So it's square root of 4 and square root of 10. In other words, our b is 2 times square root of 10. Right? So what is our answer? What is our opposite? 2 square root of 10. And what is our adjacent? 3. That's it. Ta-da! Here's our answer. This is 10, not 20. It looks like 20. So if inside is the inverse, all that is easy.
We have, I do that.
It depends on your instructor. If he doesn't like to have unreduced form, he's gonna take off points. He does, right?
For mine says.
That's how you do it. Now, for the other scenario, it's kind of not that easy. To be honest, I forgot. So let me refresh my memory. This time we are given an angle, so we need to find what do we have for that angle? So I don't see 3 pi over 4. So I have to convert this into radical, in degree. So if you're like me, you don't see your radians, always convert. So let's see how much degree is this. They cancel out. 4 goes to 180, 15, not 15, 45 times. 45 times 3, 5 times 3 is 15, 12, 13. Is it correct? Okay. So we have cosine negative 135 degrees. Right. Cosine is an even function, so negative doesn't affect us. So it's same as cosine positive 135 degrees. So 135 is somewhere here. So what we are looking for, 180 minus 135 gives us 45. So this is 45. So inverse function gives us angle back. So you're looking for an angle. And I forgot, what do you do next? So we have a 45-degree angle and you're looking for sine inverse, but unfortunately sine inverse has only this portion as its domain. So it cannot have anything that is outside of its domain. If it does, we go back here and get this angle, which is inside our domain. But this becomes negative 45. And then what do you do? Who remembers how to do this? I actually forgot. Nobody remembers? Your exam is day after tomorrow, right? Today is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Negative 45 degree.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's our answer. Yeah. So we have sine inverse of, they give us an angle, I mean a length, something over something, and it tells us it's negative 45 degree. Let me look at my video. Somewhere I have this, right? Here. Okay, let's see. So we have sine inverse. But how about you kids? Are you gonna have the same thing? Yeah. Okay, so if the angle is already inside the domain, then our answer is the same number we are given. But if it's not inside the domain, then we take that. Yeah, that's it. Cool. It's actually not bad. Okay, yeah, I got it. Do I have more? Let's see what is tangent. Tangent 370. So tangent 370 is on fourth quadrant. Our angle is inside, so we just take the smaller angle. 10 degree. Yep. Okay, it's actually not bad. So you have to remember the domain for your inverse function. And if you watch my recording, you'll see that I actually use umbrella to represent my domain. For cosine inverse, its domain is the umbrella. It means from 0 degree to 180 degree. That's the domain for the cosine inverse. So if your cosine inverse has an angle that is inside the domain of the cosine inverse, it answer is the same thing. For example, if you have cosine inverse of cosine of 90 degree, 90 degree is here, it's inside the domain of this. So our answer is 90 degree because this angle is inside the domain of the inverse function. If you have cosine inverse, let's say 120 degree, cosine inverse of cosine of 120 degree, 120 degrees here. So it's inside your domain. So your answer is 120 degree. So whatever, if the angles are inside, they cancel out and your angle is the answer. But if you have something that is outside of the domain, then you have to take its other angle. So for example, for cosine, the cosine negative 135 is same as cosine positive 135. So 135 is here, and this small portion is 45 degrees. Now it says from the given cosine angle, find out what would be the angle for the sine inverse. Now for sine inverse, this side doesn't belong to the domain. For sine and tangent, the domain is this side, from 0 to negative 90 degrees. So since this angle is outside of the domain, we cannot take this angle. So what we do, we extend our angle and we take the other one. How much we have here, we have the exact same thing here. So our answer should be 45 degrees here on the third quadrant, the second quadrant, but actually reverse it and say our answer is 45 degrees on the fourth quadrant. It's negative 45. So if the angle is already inside the domain of the inverse function, the answer is the same angle. But if it's outside, then you extend the angle and then take whatever angle you have in whichever quadrant the angle is lying. So this is what you do when your inverse function is outside. But if the inverse function is inside, that means you're drawing the triangle. So remember, inverse inside means triangle. A triangle gonna give you all the information you need. But if you have the inverse function outside, that means it's the domain. So for cosine inverse, the domain is from 0 to 90 degree, sorry, 180 degree. For sine inverse and tangent inverse, your domain is here from 0 to negative 90 degree. So your angle must lie either on the first quadrant or on the fourth quadrant. For cosine, your answer must lie either on the first quadrant or second quadrant. Okay? So you're gonna have two of these. One, when your inverse is the first function, and another one when your inverse is the inside of the original function. And then you're gonna have one combination. Something like
I'm confused just because I remember we had to like learn the acronym, like all students take calculus. So I thought that cosine would be this way and that sine and tangent would be this way. You know what I mean? In terms of like it would be A as TC, so A would be
those are for the original function, but here you're working with inverse function, not the original one. This is the inverse.
would be the opposite.
Inverse doesn't follow the same thing as
The
original.
Okay.
So when you combine, you're gonna get something like this. Cosine of sine inverse of, let's say, 3/4 plus cosine inverse, let's say, cosine is adjacent or hypotenuse. So let's say 15/19. Okay, so one of these. Now, good news, we have inverse function inside, right? Anytime we have inverse inside, means triangle. So inverse function, the color. Inverse inside means triangles. We have two inverse inside, that means we are going to have two triangles. So one triangle will be for this one, another triangle will be for this one. So in here, we don't know the angles. We only know the length of the sides. So sine is what over what? In terms of triangle. Opposite of our hypotenuse. And cosine is adjacent. Cos. Is it adjacent, right? Okay. Cosine is adjacent of our hypotenuse. Now for two triangles, we have two different information. So you have to do triangle twice, not once. For the first one, our opposite, let's say this is our angle A, and let's say this is our angle B. Because we have two angles, so we're gonna use two different variables. So for angle A, our opposite is 3, our hypotenuse is 4. For angle B, our adjacent is 15, and our hypotenuse is 19. So if this is A, and if this is B, how do you find the missing length? Pythagorean theorem. So the missing length here is 4 square minus 3 square under the square root. I'm doing shortcut. A square plus B square equals C square. Because we have A square plus B square equals C square. So if you're solving for A, it's A square is C square minus B square, and then to the square root. I did everything together in one step. I'm saving time. And for this one, our B is 19 square minus 15 square under the square root. So whatever we have, that is the missing piece. Now we have cosine here. From the first portion, we get angle A, and we have a plus in the middle. From the second portion, second inverse, we got angle B. So we have, in other words, cosine A plus B. What is cosine A plus B? We have to use the sum identities. Do you remember cosine? Cosine is very selfish. Cosine A cosine B minus sine A sine B. Now A is the first triangle. In terms of the first triangle, what is cosine A? Did you find out how much is this? 4 square is 16, 3 square is 9. So 16 minus 9 is 7. So this is square root of 7. And 19 square, no idea. How much is the other one? $136, whatever that is. So cosine A, so this is our A angle. Cosine is adjacent of our hypotenuse. So this side is adjacent. This is our hypotenuse. We get square root of 7/4. Now cosine B means, hey, go to the B function. So the B triangle. In B, this is our adjacent, this is our hypotenuse. So we get 15/19. And you're subtracting sine A. Now in the A function, sine A is here, opposite of our hypotenuse. So it's 3/4. In B, this is our opposite, which is square root of 136, and our hypotenuse is 19. Sorry. Yeah, 19. And then you multiply, simplify, that's it. So remember, inverse is inside, in means triangle. When you're doubling, inverse is inside means triangle. And for triangle, your life is easy. You're gonna find the missing length, and then based on the outer function, you either adjacent over hypotenuse, or this over that, or that over that. Okay. Inside give us an angle of a triangle. So based on the angle of the triangle, the outside function says, hey, find the length based on that angle, corresponding to that angle. So that's why when inside is the inverse function, your life is easy. Let's do the point one. Let's say you're given a point -410. So -410, -410, 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's say this is 10, -410 is somewhere here. That means you're going to draw a triangle on the second quadrant. So how much is this length? 4. How much is this length? 10. Do you know how to find the hypotenuse? So it's 10 square plus 4 square under the square root, which is 116 under the square root. And now find all 6 street functions. So remember, this is for this angle, this is adjacent, this is opposite, and this is hypotenuse. So based on Stochastic, and then your reverse, find all 6 of them. Okay. And for extra practice, do all the questions I mentioned in my review video. And review video is posted in our playlist. So if you have no idea where is our playlist, you just have to write my name, first few letters of my name, and then this one is me, go there, and then you go to playlist. This is our playlist, pre-calculus recitation. And then you'll see, it says exam 3 review somewhere here. Make sure you know the questions there.
Thank you so much.
Good luck, everyone.
Thanks.
You there.
Bye.